All right, Jared, thank you again for joining us on the Spider Success podcast. I would love for you to go ahead and take this opportunity to introduce yourself, who you are, where you are currently working, your graduation class, and sport that you played.
Sure. Well, thanks for having me. Happy to be here. My name is Jared Deker. I am a 2009 graduate from the University of Richmond. Was a football player there. And currently I am the in-house counsel and real estate director for a privately held commercially real estate development company out of Vienna, West Virginia, which is my hometown. And we, build and develop and own commercial property from single tenant gas stations, fast food, all the way up through grocery anchored shopping centers. So we kind of touch all facets of the commercial real estate world.
Awesome. And so, Jared, tell me, what was your path from being a football player at the University of Richmond, graduating in 2009, to where you are now?
Sure. Well, RD, I know you didn't bring me on to relive all the great memories and history of my time at the university, but the reason I'm here today is because there are so many of those memories that I still hold so near and dear, and I value what these student athletes are going through and how hard it is. And to answer your question, how I got from there to here was through a lot of leaning on experiences and people that I got to know and went through at the university. So when I graduated in 2009, some part of me, which I'm sure a lot of these student athletes feel today, some part of me felt like I kind of just wanted to take a break and kind of settle down and hold a job and pay my bills. So I left university and just went to work right away. I went to work as a bank teller. I worked in the restaurant industry. I worked in the construction industry because at that time, my goal was to be a self-sufficient adult. I wanted to pay my bills, pay for my car, my phone, etc. And I did that for probably 2.5 years until I realized, hey, this isn't the ultimate end game for me. Right. Where can I do and what skills do I have that I can leverage to advance my career and to advance my life? And I ultimately ended up going to law school at West Virginia University. Okay. Started there in 2012, graduated in 2015, and left and have been in the commercial real estate business ever since.
There you go. And for you, this is kind of a, I guess, double-edged question. For you as a former student athlete, how did the skills that you had as an athlete, how did you feel like that translated to you being successful in law school and in business? And how,
sure,
like, similarly, the attributes you feel student athletes have that could and should make them successful post-graduation?
Sure. Well, if you haven't been a student athlete in college, especially at a competitive, academically driven university like the University of Richmond, you don't really understand what it takes. But presumably the people watching this are student athletes, and we know what it means to have a double life, right? You're expected to be in class and maintain grades, but yet when the clock strikes 1 o'clock, you're expected to be in the gym or be on the field. And so by far, this is my opinion and the opinion of many employers that I've spoken to, by far the one attribute that stands out is time management and discipline. Right? When the real world smacks you in the face, there's only so many hours in a day, and getting it all done is not an option, right? You've got to be at work. You've got to pick the kids up. You've got to get X, Y, and Z done. And so being a student athlete really helps teach you and get ingrained into your mind time management and discipline. I mean, look, a lot of stuff we do as athletes, as parents, as professionals, it's not fun and you don't want to do, but it's not optional.
It's not optional, right?
So it's that drive, it's that competitive drive to get it done, be the best. And And that's in everything you do: athletics, academics, and professionally.
Yeah. And that's the thing we are trying to get our student athletes to understand, is just how not normal the student athlete lifestyle is on the college campus, because
Right.
it is so deeply ingrained in your identity to get up 7 o'clock, go to workouts or practice, and then go eat and go to class. And,
Right.
it's so second nature that a lot of times our student athletes don't realize how special that is and how much benefit it is when it translates post-graduation,
Right.
like,
And you may have an opinion on this, RD, but it's my opinion. And again, like I said, applying for jobs and now having hired people and so on and so forth. I put University of Richmond athletics on my resume because people see that, and it tells them, if you were able to play a varsity sport in college, scholarship or not, and maintain the GPA that you say you maintained,
right,
that immediately puts you ahead of a lot of people, because many people can go to school and just go to school and get grades. But when employers are reviewing you as a candidate and they see athletics and a strong GPA, it's like, hey, this person's dialed in and focused up.
Yeah, this is somebody I need to talk to, because
Exactly.
you are taking advantage of your opportunities, and, like, as you said, you only have so many hours in the day, and to use them effectively by being proficient at your sport and maintaining a good GPA, which lets them know that you are also being proficient in the classroom.
Right.
That puts you on a whole another level.
Right.
And I totally agree with you there. It says so much about you without you actually having to open your mouth and brag about it.
Right.
To have that
Right.
on your resume. And that's another thing that I have a lot of conversations. Keep that bit on your resume, because it says a lot about you and potential leadership abilities.
Right.
Because, if you were a captain, or, especially something like football, where you may not have been a team captain, but you could be in leadership in your position group.
Right.
That's a thing that sets you apart.
Right.
You got leadership abilities, you have leadership skills, and the time management piece, the competitive piece, the resilience piece. These are all things that are kind of built into the fact of you being a student athlete at a higher academic university,
Right.
So
Right.
you and I are on the same page. I agree with you totally there.
And I would hit two other quick notes there. I think
Yeah.
these are cliche things that you hear all the time in the realm of being an athlete in college, is coachability and teamwork, right? I mean, unless you're starting your own company in your garage, odds are you're going to be working with people and for people.
Right.
And so being coachable, you're not expected to know everything when you take a job. You're expected to learn on the job in most cases. So you got to be coachable, and you got to work with people. I
Right.
tell people all the time, just be likable. If people like you, they'll put their arm around you and coach you and teach you something that may benefit you over the long term.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you think about the amount of hours you potentially can work. At the end of the day, like, people want somebody who's productive and can help them make money, but they also
Sure.
don't want to work with somebody that's going to make them miserable.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, if we're going to be together 50, 60, 70 hours a week, be a good person, be a good
It
dude.
helps to like that person. Sure. And that'll carry you so far. Another thing I say all the time is, and it's nothing against these people, but if I look back at when I graduated from law school, the people that were maybe in the top 10, top 20% of the class, which I wasn't. I was looking up at those people, but those were incredibly smart, capable people. But some of them, a handful of them, didn't have the social skills, didn't have the outgoing sort of nature to them.
Right.
And so those are people that despite their skills and their fundamental ability to drive value to an organization, they may suffer from not being likable, not being sort of not that they're not likable, but they're not outgoing. They don't strive to be a personable, approachable person.
Right.
And I think in the business world, being able to talk to somebody and being likable are just intangibles that are tremendously valued.
I 100% agree. It gets you further than just I'm super smart.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
I think you're hitting the nail on the head. So to wrap us up, man, this has all been very, very good information, and I appreciate your time. I'd love to give you a moment, just any tidbit of advice for the student athlete. Just say somebody who senior, looking into about to go into the quote unquote real world. What advice would you have for them about the transition from student athlete to employee, I guess?
Sure. Well, the first thing I would say is have faith in who you are and what you've gone through and the training and education that you've received. You spent 4 years, some people 5 years, really, really learning how to be a student of life. And so take comfort in your training that you've received both on and off the field at the university. And the second piece of advice I would give is just dive in. Right? You're 21, 22 years old. I don't think you probably know exactly what you want to do. Some people may, but a lot of people probably don't. So dive in, lean on the relationships and connections that you've built and you have from your education in the University of Richmond, and take a job. Mm-hmm. Maybe you'll like it, maybe you won't, but the value of not liking something is almost as valuable as liking something.
100%.
Knowing what you don't like is very important. Take me as an example. I graduated with a degree in Latin American Iberian Studies. Most of those people go on to be teachers, professors. Yeah. And I didn't want to do that. So I ended up going to law school and being a lawyer, but I did a lot of things along the way that helped point me either to or from various paths I was considering. And so that's what I would say is dive in and get going, because at the end of the day, unless you're one of those few freak athletes, special people that can pay their bills and provide for their family, wearing a logo on your shirt, you got to go to work. Yeah. People are counting on you, your family's counting on you, and you should take pride in your ability to do that, to provide, and to build a life that you're happy with.
Man, that's powerful. Have faith in who you are. I dig that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is great. I wrote that down.
Absolutely. Listen, you go to the University of Richmond for these reasons, right?
Absolutely.
Because it's an awesome place. It's going to put you in a place to succeed. So take some faith and some comfort in that. Stick your neck out into the world, and odds are you're going to succeed.
Absolutely. Well, Jared, thank you very much, man. I really appreciate your time and just the information and inspiration you just gave us right there, man. This is really good. Yeah, thank you. I'm excited to have you involved.
Well, hey, thanks so much for having me, RD, and go Spiders.
Hey, go Spiders.
All right.